All right, so today we're gonna try to dive deep into AI.
Okay.
Specifically the work of Margaret Mitchell.
Sounds good.
You sent over a really interesting mix of sources.
Yeah.
Articles, research papers, even blog entries. It seems like you want to understand not just what she's done, but how she's shaped the whole field.
Yeah, what's interesting about Mitchell is she brings this, humanistic perspective
Yeah.
to a field that's, often dominated by algorithms and code.
Right.
So her background is really key to understanding her impact.
Okay, so let's start there. What's her story?
So she got her PhD from the University of Aberdeen
Okay.
in Scotland.
Interesting.
Her focus was computational creativity,
Okay.
which is not really the typical path you see
Right.
for someone who ends up leading in AI.
So not your average Silicon Valley coder then?
Not exactly. But this background gave her a deep understanding of how language and tech intersect.
Okay.
Which is really crucial.
Right.
Because it laid the groundwork for her work in natural language processing.
NLP.
Yeah.
Right? That's all about teaching machines to understand and use human language.
Exactly.
But where does the ethical part come in?
Well, Mitchell realized early on that if you're training AI on data that's biased, the system itself is going to be biased.
Right. You can't expect a fair outcome if the foundation is flawed.
Exactly.
But she didn't just point out the problem, did she?
No, she actually developed ways to address it.
Okay.
So one of her most significant contributions was in the area of word embeddings.
Okay.
These are mathematical representations of words that AI uses to understand relationships.
Okay.
And early systems often reflected societal biases.
Right.
Like associating doctor more strongly with male than female.
I've heard about those biases, yeah.
Well,
how does she tackle that?
Well, Mitchell pioneered techniques to actually adjust those relationships within the word embedding models.
Okay.
So by tweaking those mathematical vectors, you could reduce the association between doctor and male and strengthen its connection to female.
Wow.
It's essentially rewiring the AI's understanding of language to be more equitable.
So she was literally changing the way AI thinks about gender.
Yeah.
That's pretty groundbreaking. But her work goes beyond just language, right? She's also a big proponent of explainable AI.
Yes.
Or XAI.
Right. Mitchell argued that we shouldn't just accept AI's outputs without understanding the reasoning behind them.
Yeah.
Especially when these systems are making decisions that impact people's lives. We need to be able to see how they arrive at those decisions.
So it's about making the black box of AI more transparent.
Exactly. And she's done some really fascinating work with techniques like heat maps.
Yeah.
So, for example, with a facial recognition system,
Okay.
a heat map could show you which parts of the image the AI focused on to identify a person.
Right.
This kind of transparency is vital for identifying potential bias and building trust in AI systems.
It's like being able to peek under the hood and see the gears turning. But this isn't just theoretical for her, right? She actually put these principles into practice at Google.
Yeah, so she co-led the ethical AI team there.
Okay.
And they weren't just, publishing research papers.
Right.
They were building tools and frameworks to make these concepts actionable.
So taking these ideas from the lab and applying them in the real world, do you have any specific examples of how they did that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So remember the case where an AI hiring tool was shown to discriminate against certain groups?
Right. I think it was biased against women because of the data it was trained on.
Exactly. And Mitchell and her team's work on fairness metrics was really crucial in identifying and addressing this bias. They helped develop techniques to measure and mitigate these unfair outcomes.
Got it.
Making the hiring process more inclusive.
So she was directly involved in making these systems fairer in practice.
Yeah.
That's pretty impactful. But didn't she eventually run into some trouble at Google?
Yeah. So this is the Google incident.
Okay.
Which is a real turning point in her story.
Right.
And it raises important questions about how committed these tech giants really are to ethical AI.
Yeah.
When it might conflict with their business goals.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
She was leading this team, doing all of this important work.
Right.
What happened?
Well, she and her co-lead, Timnit Gebru, who's another leading voice in ethical AI, started raising concerns about the potential risks of large language models. And Google, it seemed, wasn't entirely receptive to these warnings.
So they were pointing out potential problems and Google wasn't happy. What were these concerns about?
Specifically, they were worried about the potential for these powerful language models to perpetuate biases and spread misinformation at an unprecedented scale.
Right.
They advocated for more careful consideration of the societal impact of this tech before it was widely deployed.
And how did Google react to this?
Well, let's just say their warnings didn't exactly align with the company's strategic direction.
Okay.
And things escalated quickly.
So what happened next? Did Google try to silence them?
Well, first, Gebru was let go from Google quite suddenly.
Wow.
And this sparked major controversy, both inside and outside the company.
Right.
Mitchell publicly supported Gebru.
Okay.
Which further strained her relationship with Google.
And then what happened to Mitchell?
Shortly after, she was also let go.
Wow.
Google stated it was due to violations of their data security policies. However, many people saw it as retaliation for her outspokenness about the ethical implications of Google's AI work.
So essentially, they were punished for trying to do the right thing.
Right.
For raising legitimate concerns about the potential harm these technologies could cause.
Yeah, it was a really significant moment for the field of ethical AI. An incident really exposed the challenges of self-regulation within these powerful tech companies.
Yeah.
And it raised serious questions about whether prioritizing ethics is truly possible when it clashes with profit motives.
That paints a pretty concerning picture. So where does this leave Margaret Mitchell now?
Well, despite these challenges, Mitchell has continued to champion ethical AI.
Okay.
She's found new ways to make a difference, working independently and collaborating with others who share her vision.
So she's not letting these setbacks define her.
Nope.
She's pushing forward. What's she been focusing on specifically?
So one of her key initiatives is democratizing access to tools and resources for evaluating AI fairness.
Democratizing access, what does that mean in this context?
It means she is working to ensure that smaller organizations, nonprofits, even individual researchers have the tools and knowledge to assess and address biases in their own AI systems.
So she doesn't want ethical AI to be solely controlled by big tech.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting approach. Leveling the playing field and empowering a wider range of people to contribute to ethical AI. What else has she been working on?
She's also collaborating with advocacy groups and think tanks to address the wider societal implications of AI. For example, she's been very vocal about the potential risks of generative AI, things like deepfakes and the spread of misinformation.
The potential for these technologies to be misused is huge. It's a little scary, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah.
And Mitchell is working to raise awareness about these issues and advocate for policies that could help mitigate those risks.
Right.
She's also been a strong advocate for ensuring that AI development considers its impact on existing social inequalities.
Right.
So it doesn't end up exacerbating those problems.
So she's looking at the big picture, not just the technical aspects of AI.
Yeah.
Trying to steer this technology in a direction that benefits everyone.
Exactly.
It's inspiring to see someone who's gone through what she has and still remains so dedicated to this cause.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about her commitment to ensuring that AI is developed and used responsibly.
Yeah.
And it raises some important questions for us as well.
Yeah.
If someone like Mitchell can face these challenges within a powerful company like Google, what does that say about the broader landscape of ethical AI?
That's a good point. It's not just a problem for tech companies to solve.
Right.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. But before we get into that, let's take a closer look at Mitchell's current work and see what lessons we can learn from her approach.
Sounds good. So one of the things that really stands out about Mitchell's current work is her focus on practical solutions. You know, she's not just calling out problems.
Right.
She's actively creating resources to help people build and use AI more responsibly.
So beyond raising awareness, she's giving people the tools to actually do something about it.
Exactly.
What kind of resources are we talking about?
So one example is her work on model cards. It's like a standardized fact sheet for AI models. A way to document their capabilities, limitations, and potential biases.
Got it.
It helps people understand, you know, what a model is good at, where it might fall short. What kinds of ethical considerations need to be taken into account when using it.
That sounds incredibly useful. Especially for people who might not be AI experts themselves.
Right.
It's like having a clear set of instructions and warnings for using a powerful tool.
Exactly. And she's also involved in developing open source tools that allow people to test their own AI systems for bias. These tools can analyze things like training data and model outputs to flag potential issues and help developers make their systems more equitable.
So she's empowering a wider community to participate in the development of ethical AI.
Yeah.
It's not just something left to the big tech companies anymore.
Precisely. And this ties into her focus on democratizing access to AI.
Right.
She believes that ethical considerations shouldn't be an afterthought. They need to be built into the very foundation of AI development.
And by giving more people the tools and knowledge to do that, she's increasing the chances that AI will be used for good.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And it's not just about preventing harm.
Right.
It's also about maximizing the potential benefits of AI for everyone.
So it's not about being anti-AI. Right. It's about being pro-humanity.
Exactly.
About making sure this powerful technology is used to address real-world problems and improve people's lives.
Exactly. And that brings us back to you, the listener.
Okay.
What can you take away from Mitchell's story and her work?
Right. This is all fascinating.
Yeah.
But how does it apply to someone who isn't an AI researcher or a tech CEO?
Right.
How can we as individuals make a difference in this field?
Well, first and foremost, it starts with awareness.
Okay.
Mitchell's story shows us that we can't just blindly accept AI as progress.
Right.
We need to be informed about its potential benefits and risks and engage in critical thinking about its impact on society.
So we need to educate ourselves about AI, even if we're not technical experts.
Yeah.
But what can we do with that knowledge?
Well, for one, we can support organizations and individuals who are working to promote ethical AI.
Okay.
There are many groups advocating for responsible AI development, pushing for regulations that prioritize ethical considerations.
Right.
Working to hold tech companies accountable for their actions.
We can also use our voices as consumers, right?
Absolutely.
We can choose to support companies that align with our values and reject products or services that we feel are harmful or unethical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about using your purchasing power to send a message.
Right.
About the kind of future you want to see.
I like that.
Yeah. And don't underestimate the power of conversation. Talk to your friends and family about these issues.
Yeah.
Share what you're learning and help raise awareness about the importance of ethical AI.
It's about creating a ripple effect.
Yes.
Starting with our own circles and expanding outward. But I think a lot of people might feel overwhelmed by all of this.
Sure.
It's a complex topic.
Yeah.
And it can feel like the actions of one person won't make a difference.
That's understandable. But remember, collective action is powerful.
Right.
When enough people start asking questions, demanding transparency, and holding those in power accountable, it forces change to happen.
It's like that saying, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
That's a good one.
And Mitchell's story is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
She started by asking tough questions, raising concerns, and advocating for change within a powerful institution.
Exactly.
And even though she faced significant challenges, her work has had a ripple effect throughout the entire field of AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And her story should give us hope.
Yeah.
It shows that individuals can make a difference.
Yeah.
Even in the face of seemingly insurmountable obstacles.
Right.
And that even when setbacks occur, the fight for ethical AI is worth continuing.
It's inspiring, really.
It is.
She's not giving up.
Nope.
And neither should we.
We shouldn't.
But as we wrap up this deep dive,
I
think it's important to acknowledge that this is an ongoing conversation.
Yes.
The field of AI is constantly evolving.
It is.
And so, are the ethical considerations surrounding it?
Absolutely.
So what can we do to stay engaged and informed as this technology continues to develop?
Right.
How can we ensure that the future of AI is one that benefits all of humanity?
Well, I think it starts with a commitment to lifelong learning.
Okay.
We need to stay curious, keep asking questions, and be willing to challenge our own assumptions.
Right.
The field of AI is evolving rapidly.
It is.
And it's essential to stay up to date on the latest developments and their potential impact on society.
So we need to make a conscious effort to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what it means to develop and use AI responsibly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that means engaging with a diverse range of perspectives. We need to listen to people from different backgrounds. With different experiences and viewpoints to ensure that the future of AI is shaped by a collective wisdom, not just a select few.
It's about creating a more inclusive and equitable future.
Yes.
One where AI is used to empower everyone, not just a privileged few.
Right.
That's the vision that Margaret Mitchell has been fighting for.
It is.
And it's a vision worth striving for. It feels like we're at this pivotal moment with AI. The tech is advancing so rapidly and it's being integrated into so many aspects of our lives. It has this potential to do amazing things, but also this potential to cause real harm, if it's not developed and used responsibly.
It's a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
But what's encouraging is that there's a growing awareness of the ethical implications of AI.
Yeah.
And more people are demanding that these considerations be prioritized.
And that's where Margaret Mitchell's work is so important. She's not just talking about these issues. She's actively working to create a more ethical and equitable future for AI.
Yeah.
She's given us this framework for thinking about these challenges and concrete tools to address them.
She's also shown us that it's possible to challenge the status quo, even within powerful institutions.
Right.
Her story is a reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of this technology.
But it can feel daunting, right?
Sure.
How can one person really make a difference in such a complex field?
It's true. It's a very complex landscape.
Yeah.
But remember, every movement for change starts with individuals.
Okay.
Who are willing to speak up, ask questions, and demand better.
And Mitchell's story is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
She didn't set out to become a whistleblower or a public figure.
Right.
She simply started by doing what she thought was right.
Yeah.
By raising concerns and advocating for ethical considerations within her own workplace.
And that act of courage had a ripple effect, inspiring countless others to join the conversation and demand change. It really demonstrates that even small actions can have a significant impact.
So what are some practical steps that listeners can take to get involved in this movement?
Okay.
What can we do in our own lives to promote ethical AI?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, education is key.
Yeah.
Take the time to learn about AI, its capabilities, its limitations, and its potential impact on society. There are tons of great resources available online.
Right.
Including articles, videos, and even online courses.
And don't just stick to one perspective.
Right.
Seek out diverse voices and viewpoints to get a more well-rounded understanding of the issues. Read articles from different publications, watch documentaries, listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Engage in conversations with people who have different backgrounds and perspectives than your own.
And once you've gained some knowledge, don't be afraid to share it.
Right.
Talk to your friends and family about these issues. Raise awareness on social media. Write to your elected officials and express your concerns about the ethical implications of AI.
We can also be mindful of the products and services we use.
Absolutely.
Support companies that are prioritizing ethical AI development.
Right.
And avoid those that are using this tech in ways that you find harmful or unethical.
It's about using your purchasing power to vote for the kind of future you want to see. And remember, even small choices can make a difference.
Yeah.
If enough people start demanding, ethical AI companies will be forced to listen.
And don't underestimate the power of community.
Right.
Connect with others who are passionate about this issue. Join online forums, attend conferences, get involved with advocacy groups.
There's strength in numbers, and together we can create a more powerful force for change.
It's about building a collective voice.
Yeah.
A movement that demands that AI be developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this final thought. The future of AI is not predetermined. Okay. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make both individually and collectively.
And the choices we make today will have a profound impact on the world we create tomorrow. So let's choose wisely. Let's choose to build a future where AI is a force for good, a tool for justice, and a catalyst for a more equitable and humane world.
A future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.